So thanks again, Lefteris, for joining us for our Crypto Natives interview series. My name's Steve Everard. I am a business developer here at Pondal. Um, we're really excited to have you on. Figured I'd start things off with a little bit of a lighter question, not before we dive into the more heavy crypto stuff. I've been told that you're a pretty experienced runner. So is there anything you're training for right now? Any marathons you're working up to, or?
Yeah. I just came back from a run for a training run for the Berlin Marathon. I'm training to run the Berlin Marathon in 5.5 weeks, but basically in a month, almost in a month.
Wow,
And
good luck, man. If you can run in the heat out there, you got to be you probably
oh,
ready for anything.
this is one of the things that I hate about the Berlin Marathon. It's every week, every year, and the end of September. But end of September is nice. But in order to train for a marathon, you need to train months before, and you have to do increasingly longer and longer runs, which puts those runs in August and July. And even in Berlin, it's probably really, I mean, it is really bad for running, like heat wise. And yeah, there is no other option unless you want to move somewhere
I was gonna
for
say
the training.
you're taking the hardest path, but it sounds like you're not afraid to go down it. So that's impressive, man. Good for you.
Thanks.
All right. So yeah, now that's out of the way, we'll kind of get into some of the more formative crypto questions that we're hoping to ask here. So I would love to just start off by getting your thoughts on what do you think defines a true crypto native?
Okay, yeah. To me, it's actually a kind of a newer term. I heard it recently. I don't remember when I first heard it, but I guess it would be people who are but more like true to the crypto ethos and are trying to be like using crypto as much as possible in their daily lives and also promote it. Um, yeah, I guess like someone who really leaves a lot on chain and maybe even has a like has a project that is Web3 related or crypto related, or a company and so on and so forth. Like it can be many things. I don't think that there is a like one specific definition.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great way to put it. I feel like it is kind of a more broad term as well too, so good to keep a lot of things included in that definition. Kind of going off of that description of a crypto native, so assuming yourself would identify with a lot of that ideology and being a part of the crypto native community, what are some of the DeFi tools and strategies, I guess, that you find yourself using, whether that's day to day or just maybe on a yearly basis or as needed? Could you kind of tell us some of those things that you tend to interact with?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I'd say there's a lot.
Of
uh,
course.
yeah, so I guess there's so many different things. Like it's not just DeFi. Like for crypto in general, like ENS, of course. So I have multiple ENSs, both for myself and family. Then it would be various protocols for um, utilizing ETH that I have, for example, right? Some are in staking, others are in DeFi, and the way that I tend to do this would be either put it in I don't know, like Maker or Liquidity or Aave, then take loans and use it in other, use the stables that I take as loans in other places, so that you don't have to sell the ETH. This is kind of the okay. It's not degen, but it's the playing with DeFi as a financial instrument. Uh, then other parts that are I don't know if I would call it DeFi, but I would call it like really crypto. That I think it's really powerful is paying people in crypto or being paid in
Mhm.
crypto, and this is like really powerful. Uh, so basically, that's something that we do in Rotki's pay salaries for people who want in euros or for people who are outside the European Union. We pay in stable coins, and it's uh, probably this one of the most powerful. parts of crypto for me, the payments thing. It's like it may sound banal or like boring, but if you have ever had to pay someone outside the SEPA region, or I don't know what the equivalent would be in other countries, it's very difficult and very slow and has fees that are crazy. Like once we had someone in Nepal who didn't want to be paid in crypto, and we had to find a way to pay him. And
Had to get creative there, I'm sure.
we had to get very creative. And I mean, the simplest thing is this Wise, I think, called or some Wise transfer or
Mhm.
something like that. And they put like 2-3% fees on, and that is apparently the cheapest you can find. And like these are crazy if you want to go for salaries or anything non-trivial as fees.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Just from this past summer, I had to pay some friends that live in the UK for just splitting tabs, and it was like $25 to wire since I couldn't convince them to let me pay them in crypto. So it's a pain still, man. It's nothing vanilla about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on. Another question I'd love to hear your thoughts on is what are some of the main issues that crypto natives face today in the sort of financial ecosystem? You see, obviously, we just discussed payments and things like that. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you'd want to touch on?
So this is more for problems, if I understand.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Okay, okay. Um, so for problems, I would suppose we have a bad reputation as an industry. uh, it's 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 quite negative for many people, and um, this is unfortunately manifesting in various ways, both in the political spectrum, both in the US and in the EU. They are very hostile to crypto, um, and like it starts slowly. So some people hate on crypto. Then if it's not debunked, or if you don't explain that they are mistaken, then it gets bigger and bigger and becomes political, and then they stop, they unbank you. Basically they can refuse banking for you if you are related to crypto, if you are a company and related to crypto. um, you may have very good intentions, for example, to donate to a real charity, like real charity, like um,
All right.
recognized charity in Germany, for
Yeah.
example, and mention crypto to them, and then they would be like, "Oh, I don't want to even hear about it." So I really think that the reputation, the bad reputation that crypto has, is gonna it's already pretty a very big problem, and if we don't get serious about addressing it, we're gonna be in a world of trouble because. There is this friends tech right now, right? Like this thing that basically some people just call it fun, and because I was and I still am a bit against it, like not against, like I just don't find it interesting. But they were saying that there's many people in crypto Twitter, etc., that are saying, oh, it's just innocent fun, and it's how do you call it, like speculation, but not in a bad way, and that speculation is part of crypto. So it, speculation is part of everything. Like if it's just investment, speculation can be investment, but it can also be so long-term investment, but it can also be gambling. And if we identify as an industry with gambling, and this is what people seem to identify us with, then we are going to have like all these problems are going to get much more serious. uh, like not being able to have a normal bank, not being able to interact with other organizations in the countries that we operate in. And I mean, some would say let's just go completely dark and be on our own thing, and then they are on their own thing. But this is not a solution. Like I really think that we should just we are making crypto so that it can be part of the world, not just a few nerds in crypto Twitter trading with each other.
Have you experienced any of these or ran into any of these issues, maybe firsthand, whether that's through past experiences or current experiences at Roki? And are there anything that you found has been successful in kind of pushing back and mitigating? it a little bit?
Mm, I've run into all of them. That's why I'm thinking
Oh, that's
about it.
okay. Speaking from experience.
Yeah. So for mitigation, it's hard. You really have to basically go around, or like find other ways. So if so, for example, for banks, right? If there is some banks that if they hear the word crypto, they would just reject. Like they have the right to reject clients for whatever reason. It's just how it works. Uh,
Hmm.
you can go around and talk to some people in the bank, explain that it's like nothing weird, that you don't do gambling or like, and then things may happen. Same thing with every organization. If you actually speak in a personal manner and they say that you're not a monster or something, it's fine. But uh, this is not how it should be. Like
Yeah.
uh,
It,
because when it happens like this, when they start to block us just because we are in crypto, this is now on an individual company level. Like this bank doesn't want you, this child doesn't want you. But if it this is the start of something going completely political in the legal level. They can just say, okay, yeah, crypto is actually bad. This is like a fact, and we are going to just regulate it like gambling and make it like illegal for anybody under 18 to have KYC, and like who knows what. I don't even want to go there.
yeah. In your opinion, does it almost feel kind of like it's almost more assumed guilty until proven innocent rather than the benefit of the doubt like most other traditional companies see in banking?
Mm, yeah, kind of. I would say yes, or more like they just put everybody along with some bad apples. But the problem with the
Mhm.
bad apples in crypto is that they're really loud.
There,
It, it's this is why it's really sad. Like they're really loud, and also the way that our journalists um, cover all these hacks. They just put out huge numbers, which are not real numbers. It's like, I don't know, this bridge got hacked for billions of dollars of some illiquid tokens that were never actually worth this much, but they like to put huge numbers. So the traditional sector looks at this and looks at the numbers that they know, like these are crazy. These are numbers that could, I don't know, like feed so many people, do so many good stuff for the communities. And then they see them and they're like, what are these people doing? They are burning money. So it creates a very, very, very bad image. And this, I like to say that it's they put us the bad with the good, but then sometimes I also get pretty jaded with some of the people in the industry, because it just yeah, like we seem to not want to promote the good stuff of the industry as much as the things that are just Ponzi's.
yeah, yeah. So I'd love to go a bit, build a little bit more off of that. Speaking of some of the good stuff, obviously, been told you were working back at with the Ethereum Foundation back in 2014 in the very early days of the project. In terms of just like, I feel like that was when everything was still like wholesome and the future still hadn't been tainted too much back at that point. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about what your experience was like then, and then maybe just how things felt more broadly as well?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was of course the beginning, so everything felt like bright, new, exciting. I had also just come from um, a different kind of job. So I was a software engineer in Oracle, the big Oracle.
Oh yeah,
So it was like going from I wanted a different thing. So going from that to a startup that's completely crazy and totally new, and they were just looking to create this cryptocurrency. And I'm like, cryptocurrencies, yeah, I know Bitcoin, so let me just try to see if I could help there. And it was exciting and fun. but the trading and the speculation was always there. I just was not as much exposed to it, I would say. So like people were always, trading and speculating on Ether, but it was really um, we the developers of the at least I think every office actually. So I was mostly in Berlin. So this is the office that I know the best. We were really really focused on the tech and the code, not really much else. Um, but when in 2015, right, we launched the network, that was like a super exciting day because it was, seeing things, like the blocks get mined, transactions be included and everything, and slowly the network charging on. That was amazing. It was like thing that we have been working for a year and something already on. Just be out there. It didn't really get used in the beginning, of course. Like it took some time. Took
Of
quite some
course.
time.
Yeah, you get to see your baby take its first steps before it's running marathons out there. Just like
Yeah.
awesome. That's really cool. Thanks for telling me a little bit about that. Another question, I guess, did any of your past experiences, whether that was personal or your involvement with the Ethereum project from the beginning, was any of that part of what inspired you to create Roki, or was that kind of unrelated and just sort of a new idea you came up with?
Mm, yeah. Okay. So, um, not really, but the experience in crypto is what made me use like create Rotki. So Rotki was created first and foremost for me to do my taxes. Basically, I mean it's quite simple. It's a quite basic need. Like you want to do something and there is no good tool. So I'm very much about uh, personal sovereignty and privacy, and I think that this is something that crypto should really be about. Um, and I just didn't know how to do taxes in crypto. I had no idea. Uh, so back then, I think that there was only Bitcoin.tax, and I tried to use it. I just saw that it's a website, that it's a server,
Hmm.
and that it just tells you, okay, please upload everything here. Like give us all your API keys, all your data, all your CSV files, and we will tell you a number at the end. So it is and still it was and still is closed source and software as a service. To me, that seemed like I don't know, insane.
Yeah,
As a as
just
something like
and
in crypto, right? It's crypto, so you should be a bit tiny bit more privacy conscious and just giving everything about what you own or have ever owned. Uh, and maybe if you never change addresses, will own in the future. Um, or even if you change addresses, sorry, if you don't go through a mixer or a centralized exchange, then you can also like follow through. Uh, so basically give them so much data and trust that they will never leak it, and also they will give you a number. That number is actual money that you have to pay to your tax authority. And is it going to be correct? How can you check it? And that to me looked insane. So I started a small command line interface that helped me make my taxes in the first year in 2017, and then that same thing became Rotki slowly.
oh, awesome. That's a great point to hear that what it evolved into just from a simple need to be like, hey, what are we actually doing here? And then taking it into your own hands.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much.
going off of that with the more privacy oriented kind of ideology behind crypto, I'm glad you mentioned that because as I was doing some research on you, I noticed that you have a pretty open online presence and you're not really like a pseudonymous actor or anything in the space like a lot of people tend to prefer to be, which is totally reasonable given the whole background in the space. Is that kind of a part of your open source mindset and kind of just leaving everything out there so that people feel comfortable being a part of what you're building? Or would you be able to tell me a little bit more about that?
Hmm. Um, so to be honest, if I had started now, I would knowing what I know now, I would have stayed anonymous. I would have strived to be an anonymous person. But that ship sailed pretty early.
It's too late now.
So
Yeah.
it's basically too late. I would have to create another persona, and uh, like being public also has its benefits. So, like, I hate the word that they use, influencer. I don't consider myself one, but you have some kind of uh, like audience, let's say, and um, it's it is interesting to have one, and it helps in many things. Also, asking questions. Like I have asked so many questions about Berlin or about software, about crypto, and I actually get answers faster than even Googling sometimes. Um, so if I wanted to become Anon, like some people have also suggested to do it already again, like to try, I just don't have the mental capacity to start again because, I'm a software developer, right? So if I were to trust someone, i- if they are anonymous, I would have to be able to see some kind of consistency in development, some kind of like uh, not a real CV, but if you're an anonymous guy, then your GitHub commits should be the CV, and like creating that again, that's just too difficult.
Yeah, especially with all the years you've been putting into the industry as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it would just be too much to just do again. But if I had to
Yeah.
do that again, I would probably try anonymous. But so I'm posting selective pictures sometimes here and there. But for example, I never post pictures of my kid, or if I post it around, I have a face. So I am kind of privacy conscious, but on the other hand, not not totally closed.
Yeah, that's very reasonably so. So moving on to another question I'd love to hear about. What's kind of getting you the most excited to see in the upcoming months here within the DeFi space? Is there anything, whether that's just sort of new trends, like I know Oracle free projects have been kind of a hot topic lately with a couple of liquidations and reentrancy attacks making some headlines recently, or is there any specific projects you're keeping an eye on coming up? Would you be able to fill us in on anything there?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, um, well, there is quite a few actually. So, um, of course, like from our side, like from the side of rotki, we want to go more towards for management. So we are a portfolio trading, but we want to go more towards for managing funds, since we are a local application. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to being able to do. So to manage funds on exchanges or on chain through rotki itself, because right now it's just a tracker. So this is definitely something that would be really cool to see, and we are working towards. For other projects, I'm really looking to see how will the safe protocol work out with trying to formalize the account abstraction theme that they have. And oh yes, 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 yes. Huh. Paying with crypto directly and credit cards. I haven't tried that yet, and I really want to do that. So Gnosis Pay and Holy Held, I know, are two projects that are doing this. I want to try both. I haven't yet. I have ordered the Gnosis Pay. I want to also order the Holy Held card. Um, and I really like the idea, of being able to um, use crypto directly, in the supermarket, etc.
Okay. That's very interesting. I think the credit card pay one is new to me as well, but that's something I've been keeping an eye on at least a couple months back. So I'll have to try and see what I can find on that
Yeah, yeah,
as
it's gonna
well.
be so cool. But there, the privacy becomes really difficult. So Gnosis Pay, don't give your ENS. I gave it, and I'll
Okay.
probably need to reorder because what they do is, and I told them, and we have to try to find a way around this. What they do is that they create a Gnosis safe in the Gnosis chain, and they put your ENS as as the owner, and every single transaction that you do with the card will be from that safe, and essentially you are doxing everything.
Oh, okay. So it's yeah, that's really just attaching your name to everything you do then.
Yeah, so
That's
I did that. I will have the card with the ENS, but I don't think I will use it. I didn't realize it until after I ordered it and I talked to them about how it's supposed to work. I thought that, hey, why did you put my ENS in the safe? I wanted to actually keep it, private. And then I realized that I did it by choosing an ENS name. Well, I ordered the card, and yeah. So I think that if you want to try crypto and DeFi, you really should try to keep it with a kind of a private address, like I don't know, feed it directly from an exchange or something.
yeah, just kind of one to one there. Cool. Well, that's yeah. Those are some great things to keep an eye on here in the next couple months. So just I guess in then kind of extrapolating out from this thing from that last question, one final thing I'd love to hear from you is I guess where do you see overall DeFi heading in the next even 10 years? Are you optimistic, pessimistic, realist? I guess a mix of both. Or what kind of trends do you also expect to play a big role in the longer road forward here?
Hmm. I suck at this. I'm really bad at predicting stuff. Like if I was good, I would have invested in so many different things that ended up being a bit better, like being pretty good. But I'm really bad at this. Uh, being I'm generally a realistic person, so what I have become quite pessimistic lately, but I will try to have an optimistic view now. So if we stay realistic and also assume that somehow this gets more and more used by people, then I suppose that we should see stablecoin payments become a standard. Uh, Eventually eclipse the normal banking system, like pretty long term, because it is like purely from every aspect it's just better. Like it's not, you can't compare. Like I have both as an individual and as a person who has bank accounts for a company. Like I want to do everything with crypto because it's just better, faster, and simple, like,
Mhm.
and cheaper, like much cheaper. um the yields will drop a lot. They will basically drop to traditional finance. They have already pretty much dropped quite a bit.
Yeah,
All the deeds and stuff will die out because um, they're just not sustainable. I mean, you just see big numbers and you ape, and you realize by the end when you do the math that you actually lost money.
yeah, that's they always get you with the APYs, and then when you run
Yes,
the
yes,
numbers at the end of the day, it doesn't usually check out.
yeah. It's like APY in the token that actually loses value like continuously, but you just realize it towards the end or something. Um, but I think that some really cool ways of having. I mean, we call it yield because it sounds cool in the DeFi crypto world, but in reality, they are just basic financial instruments, right? And some of those are, I hope, get are going to get more adapted, like the the way that lending works in crypto. It's pretty amazing, like how you can lend, like put your ETH somewhere and get a loan, put your NFT, like you guys in Pond do. It's amazing. It's transparent. But this is what's actually very beautiful, that the transparency that it has, that everybody can, I don't know, open rotki, open whatever, and look and follow through and understand what's happening, versus traditional finance. How do you see? You buy a Bloomberg terminal subscription. Uh,
Yeah, for the low price of 20,000 a month or whatever the
exactly. It's crazy. It is insane. And like I really think that we are just going to get more and more like traditional finance and eventually replace it. Like think, I would hope, because
fingers.
what we are creating is more interesting and more powerful and extremely transparent, and gives everybody the same chances that uh, yeah, basically it gives everybody the same chances. You don't need to be like a Wall Street boy to be able to play with this. You don't need to be an accredited investor to take a loan and try something.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of it. And see, you said you were pessimistic. That sounded like a pretty optimistic outlook to me. So glad to hear that.
I said I will give my not pessimistic
Uh,
view.
fair. Well, appreciate the insight either way. I know we're at a little bit past the half an hour mark here, so I really appreciate you taking the time to get on the call with me. As we're signing off here, any last minute comments you want to give to our crypto natives that are going to be listening in and reading the interview here, or just anything you want to uh, discuss regarding rotki, things you guys are going to be working on? Feel free to leave any final comments here. I'll toss it over to you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? So, uh, for uh, for rotki, let's start first. For rotki, I guess, as I said, we are pretty passionate about it. We are building it into trying to change more because the idea of many people is that it's a tax accounting tool. Because I keep saying that I first made it as a tax accounting tool, which is true, but we are trying to make it more of a management tool rather than a tax accounting tool, because taxes are actually quite hard,
Oh
if you
yeah.
think about it. And if you think that our users are basically from all around the world, that makes like hundreds of different of jurisdictions that each one has a specific rules that are quite hard to develop for. So we have a customized tool that tries to help people do accounting because of being customizable. But in the end, we want to go more towards management, because that is a one much more interesting. So you both you can do accounting on it, but not your taxes properly. But you can get a good view of your portfolio. You can track it, but you can also act on it. So trade with it, um, utilize it, and this is much better than just a tracking or accounting tool. So we are going towards there, and I'm pretty happy towards like to see that happen. So this for Rotki, just so that people, I'm trying to push this more out so that people just disassociate the word tax with Rotki. Um, it's
Got to
hard.
do a
It's hard.
pivot. Yeah, it's
It's hard. And for crypto itself, I guess, yeah, um, I would like to see more people hold on to the basic and founding crypto values of basically self sovereignty, privacy, um, uh, you know, don't trust, verify. So I, if there's any message that I would like, especially new people in crypto, to take, is to remember those and to hold on to those and to understand those values, much more than just speculation, because um, this is the actual thing that differentiates us from anything else. Otherwise, we are just a slow SQL database.
yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of our listeners here and coming up on year two of the bear market that are still hanging and building with us are gonna feel very much aligned to that ideology as well. But then it's good to always give a reminder out there for the new people still entering too, to just keep things in perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, if there is, it was absolute pleasure talking with you here today. Like I said, thanks so much again for taking the time, and hopefully we'll stay in touch here. And I'll be keeping an eye on Roki for the very near future. It looks like you guys have some exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks a lot for your time, also, Steve.
All right. Well, and good luck at the marathon at the end of September as well. Sounds like you've been training hard, so
Oh yeah.
I'm
I
sure
hope
you'll be
that
good
the
to
weather
go.
is good. I hope that the weather ends up good on that day.
Fingers crossed for you. All right. Well, you have a great rest of your day, and thanks again.
Okay, bye bye.
Take care.